What if the first words you speak in the morning shape the very fabric of your reality? Before the world stirs, before obligations pull you in different directions, there is a sacred moment, a fleeting opening where the spiritual and the physical intertwine. Most people rush past it, unaware of the immense power it holds. But those who understand, those who harness this moment, unlock something extraordinary. You see, morning is not just the beginning of another routine day. It is the canvas upon which the energy of your entire existence is painted. And whether you realize it or not, the first vibrations you release into the world dictate what echoes back to you. Some whisper complaints, others grumble in exhaustion. And then there are those who awaken with intention, with a prayer, with a divine invocation that aligns them with the unseen forces of abundance, protection, and peace. This is not superstition. This is not mere tradition. This is an ancient sacred technology woven into the very structure of reality itself. Throughout history, the most enlightened beings, prophets, mystics, visionaries, understood the immeasurable power of morning, prayer. They knew that the spoken word does not vanish into silence, but rather it vibrates, it lingers, it carves unseen paths in the realm of the unseen. What if you too could tap into this sacred knowledge? What if every day, before the chaos of life begins, you could step into divine alignment and set miracles into motion? Most people pray reactively. They wait until a problem arises, until fear grips them, until desperation forces them to seek divine intervention. But true seekers, those who walk with wisdom, pray proactively. They don't wait for storms to come. They build their foundation before the winds even stir. Because they know one thing: the universe responds to intention. God responds to faith. And the words you speak in the morning do not merely drift away, they set the course of what is to come. But what if prayer is more than a plea? What if it is a force, a frequency? A technology encoded within you, designed not only to be heard, but to shape the very world around you. Science has already begun to catch up with what ancient wisdom has always known. Words are not just sounds, they carry power. They influence the very structure of reality in ways most people never consider. In Japan, a researcher named Dr. Masaru Emoto conducted a groundbreaking study on the effect of words on water. He spoke blessings over some samples and hateful words over others. What he found was astonishing. The water exposed to positive words formed stunning, symmetrical crystalline structures like intricate snowflakes, but the water exposed to negative words, it became chaotic, disfigured, broken. If words can do this to water, imagine what they do to you. After all, the human body is mostly water. Every word you speak, every prayer you utter, is influencing your very being at a molecular level. This is why morning prayers are not a luxury. They are not a mere ritual to make you feel good for a moment. They are a necessity, a practice that aligns your energy, your spirit, and your destiny with divine order. The ancient texts have whispered this truth for centuries. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Yet most wake up and unknowingly curse their own day. They declare exhaustion. They speak doubt. They murmur worry. And in doing so, they set their own course towards struggle. But those who awaken and declare abundance, those who speak faith before fear has a chance to enter, they are the ones who shift the unseen in their favor. The universe bends toward those who approach it with confidence. The unseen forces of heaven respond to those who command their day, rather than those who merely react to it. This is why the words of your morning are more important than anything else you will say for the rest of the day, because they determine the tone of your existence before distractions, obligations, and external chaos have a chance to dictate it for you. What if you could remove the weight of struggle from your shoulders? What if your financial burdens, your worries about the future, your fears of not having enough, what if none of that was meant to be yours to carry? What if abundance was not something you had to chase, but something already flowing toward you, waiting for you to stop resisting it? The world has conditioned us to believe that we must toil endlessly, that success is a product of relentless struggle, that wealth is only for the few. But this is not divine law. This is not spiritual truth. The Creator did not place you on this earth to scrape by, to barely survive, to live in a constant state of stress and fear. No, you were created for abundance, not just financially, but in peace, in love, in health, in purpose. Abundance is not something you must earn. It is something you must align with. And alignment begins with faith, with surrender, with trusting that God has already set provisions for you. The birds of the sky do not worry about their next meal, and yet they are fed. The trees do not question whether they will receive sunlight, and yet they flourish. Why then do you, created in the very image of the divine, believe that you must fight for what has already been promised to you? Morning prayer is the gateway to this understanding. It is the moment where you stop striving and start trusting, where you release control and step into divine provision. This is not weakness. This is not inaction. This is the highest form of wisdom. Because those who truly understand spiritual abundance know that struggle is not a prerequisite for receiving. The moment you let go, the moment you declare, the moment you affirm that what is yours is already making its way toward you, that is the moment you shift from lack to overflow. Imagine a river. It does not force itself forward. It does not exhaust itself, trying to carve a path. It simply flows because it knows the source from which it comes. Your wealth, your health, your peace, they are like that river. They are already flowing, already moving, already destined for you. But when you hold on to fear, to doubt, to anxiety, you build dams in your own spirit, blocking what was meant to reach you effortlessly. Let go, declare, align, speak it before you see it. Because the moment you awaken and speak divine abundance into existence, the moment you align yourself with the truth that has always been, you will see it manifest in ways beyond what you could have imagined. The unseen becomes seen. The flow becomes unstoppable. And you will understand what has always been waiting for you. Most people wake up unprotected, unaware that they are stepping into a world filled with unseen forces, forces that shape their emotions, their interactions, their entire reality. You do not see them, but they are there. Doubt, negativity, chaos. They creep into the mind like shadows at dawn, whispering fear, planting seeds of uncertainty before the day has even begun. But what if you could build a shield? A spiritual armor so strong that no negativity could penetrate it. Morning prayer is not just about inviting blessings, it is about fortifying your spirit. Without it, you walk into the day defenseless, open to the distractions, fears, and energies of the world. But when you pray, when you declare protection over your mind, your heart, your path, you are doing more than speaking words. You are activating unseen forces, commanding light to surround you, ensuring that no darkness can take root. Ancient scriptures understood this truth. Put on the full armor of God, it says, so that you can take your stand against the forces of darkness. This is not metaphor. This is instruction. Because whether you believe in spiritual warfare or not, the energy of the world moves in unseen ways. Some people walk into a room and feel drained, heavy, anxious without knowing why. That is not coincidence. That is spiritual interference. And those who do not protect themselves are vulnerable to it every single day. But those who begin their morning in prayer, they walk with a different presence, a different confidence. They move through the day untouched by the small disturbances that throw others into confusion. Why? Because they have already set the foundation. They have already spoken protection over their energy, their peace, their focus. They have already declared that no weapon formed against them shall prosper. And so they move differently. They do not react to negativity. They rise above it. They do not absorb the weight of the world. They transcend it. Think of a warrior, stepping into battle without armor, without a shield, without a sword, vulnerable, unprepared. That is how most people step into their day, exposed to every distraction, every worry, every fleeting anxiety that comes their way. But now imagine that same warrior fully equipped, strong, covered, unshaken by whatever may come. That is the power of morning prayer. It is the armor that protects you, the shield that covers you, the weapon that ensures you are not merely surviving your day but thriving in it. There is a formula, a structure, a way to pray that shifts the atmosphere around you. Many believe that prayer is just speaking words, but true prayer is an activation. It is a divine alignment. It is a force that moves things seen and unseen. The most powerful prayers, the ones that shift realities, follow a sequence, a rhythm, an ancient structure that aligns you with divine order. The first step is acknowledgement, not of yourself, not of your problems, but of God, of the source, of the infinite power that governs all things. When you wake up and begin your prayer by acknowledging God, you are stepping into humility. You are recognizing that you are not alone, that your strength does not come from effort alone, but from divine guidance. This is where all true power begins. The second step is declaration, speaking what is not yet seen as though it already is. This is where most people falter. They pray from a place of lack, of begging, of desperation. But true spiritual warriors pray from a place of certainty. They declare abundance before it appears. They speak protection before the attack comes. They command peace before chaos has a chance to take root. They understand that faith is not believing after the miracle, it is speaking as if the miracle is already here. And the third step? Surrender. This is the step that changes everything. After acknowledging and declaring, you must release. Release worry. Release doubt. Release the need to control. Because the moment you fully trust, the moment you surrender the outcome, the moment you stop chasing and start receiving, that is when the floodgates open. That is when the unseen begins to move in your favor. This is not theory. This is law. The law of faith, the law of alignment, the law of divine provision. When you wake up each morning and follow this sacred structure, acknowledge, declare, surrender, you are not simply praying. You are rewriting the script of your life. You are stepping into the flow of abundance, of peace, of divine certainty. And once you do, everything begins to change. There are those who have lived this truth, those who have seen their entire lives shift not by working harder, not by worrying more, but by aligning with the power of morning prayer. Their stories are not coincidences. They are proof that when you commit to beginning your day with divine intention, miracles unfold. There are countless examples, stories of people who started praying in the morning and saw financial breakthroughs they never expected, relationships healed, doors opened that had been shut for years. Coincidence? No. Divine alignment? Yes. Look at the great figures of history, the leaders, the visionaries, the spiritual masters. They all shared one practice. They started their day in prayer. Before battle, before decisions, before stepping into their purpose, they aligned themselves with the divine, not out of obligation, but because they understood. When you set your foundation in the unseen, the seen must follow. And now, it is your turn. This is not just something to think about. This is something to act on, to experience, to embody. Will you step into your day defenseless, or will you command it with certainty? Will you continue to speak words of doubt, or will you declare your divine inheritance? This is not about waiting, it is about awakening. Awakening to the truth that has always been there, that abundance is not earned, it is aligned with, that protection is not something to fearfully request, but something to declare. That every morning before the world pulls you in 1,000 directions, you have a choice to set the course, to shape the energy, to decide with faith what your day will bring. What you speak, you become. What you pray, you receive. What you declare, you step into. So begin now, begin today. Speak your morning into alignment, and watch as everything begins to shift in your favor. There is a sacred moment before the world fully wakes, before the noise of the day drowns out the whispers of the divine. It is in this moment that your words hold the most power, your intentions carry the greatest weight, and your prayers become the foundation of everything that follows. For many, prayer is an afterthought, something they turn to when they are lost, when they are desperate, when they have exhausted every other option. But for those who understand, for those who walk in divine wisdom, prayer is not a last resort. It is the first step, the beginning of every victory, the alignment that makes struggle unnecessary. And when you begin your day with prayer, you are not merely asking for guidance, you are stepping into divine abundance. not just financial wealth, but a wealth that permeates every aspect of your existence, a wealth of wisdom, a wealth of protection, a wealth of divine favor that opens doors before you even reach them. Because morning prayer is more than just words. It is a frequency, a vibration that moves unseen forces into motion. It is a declaration that you are not moving through this world alone, that your path is guided, that your provision is assured. And when you operate from that level of faith, the struggles that once consumed you begin to disappear. You no longer fight for what has already been given. You no longer chase what is already flowing toward you. But there is one thing that must be understood. Prayer is not magic. It is alignment. It is not about reciting words and expecting instant transformation. It is about embodying those words, believing them so deeply that they become your reality. Because the universe does not respond to empty requests. It responds to faith, to conviction, to the unwavering certainty that what you speak is already done. This is why the greatest prayers are not pleas. They are affirmations, declarations. They do not ask, they proclaim, they do not beg, they assume. Because those who walk in divine abundance do not wonder if they are provided for. They know. Imagine stepping into your day with this level of certainty. Imagine no longer worrying about whether things will work out, but simply moving forward, knowing that they already have. Imagine releasing the weight of fear, of doubt, of struggle, and stepping fully into the flow of divine provision. This is what morning prayer unlocks. This is what faith activates. And those who have seen the power of this truth, those who have embraced it fully, will tell you that once you experience it, you will never go back. There is a shift that happens when you stop living in reaction to the world and start creating from within. When you wake up each morning and set your intention, not based on fear but on faith, not based on what you see but on what you know is already unfolding in the unseen. This is why the stories of those who have committed to morning prayer are so powerful. They did not simply hope for change. They aligned with it. They spoke it into existence. They moved in faith before they saw the evidence, and because of that, the evidence always came. You have that same power. You have that same access. And the moment you claim it, everything begins to change. There comes a point where you must decide, will you continue to live as you have, or will you step into something greater? Will you wake up each morning and allow the world to dictate your reality, or will you command your day with intention, with certainty, with the unshakable knowing that you are divinely guided and abundantly provided for? This is the choice before you, and it is not a small one, because how you begin your day determines how you live your life. If you choose to wake up in fear, in doubt, in uncertainty, then that energy will follow you. It will shape your interactions, your decisions, your opportunities. It will limit what is possible for you. But if you choose to wake up in faith, in gratitude, in divine certainty, then everything shifts. The doors that once seemed locked begin to open. The struggles that once consumed you begin to fade. The abundance that once felt out of reach begins to flow effortlessly into your life. This is not theory. This is law, spiritual law, universal law, the law that governs energy, intention, and manifestation. And when you align with it, when you step into it fully, you will see for yourself that everything you desire has already been set in motion. So now, the question is simple. What will you speak into existence? Because what you declare today will become your reality tomorrow. What you affirm in the morning will shape the course of your day, your week, your life. So choose wisely, speak boldly, declare with certainty, and step into the divine abundance that has always been waiting for you.